Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, and we are going to do Credit Tip Tuesday. Thank you for joining in. I have missed you guys so much. Hope everyone is doing well. This is my first time back in a while, and I told you back in October we will bring some special guests on. We will have a variation of topics along with um, becoming more in depth what credit really is. As everyone is coming in, please like, chat, and share. Please also tune in where you are watching from. I am using StreamYard, so in order for me to see your comments, please place your name. So when you have questions, we will be inviting the questions towards the end. If there is something that you would like to see discussed the following week, let us know and we will take that in consideration. But welcome everyone. I'm so happy to see everyone and everyone's coming in. And everyone, I hope everybody's doing well and they're safe. I miss you guys so much. A lot has been going on along with just growing the organization. So please like, tag, share. Tonight I will be co-hosting with one of my faves that I met during a conference, private event. I was pretty impressed with her, and she will be on shortly. But again, please let me know where you're tuning in from. Also, if you have any questions, place them in the comments. Along with, we will answer all questions towards the end of the broadcast. Hi, look at my babies. I miss y'all so much. Hope everybody family's doing well. Hope everybody is building and amazed, growing, all that good stuff. Oh, let's see. I got one more. So again, anyone that's tuning in, please like, click, and share. We'll be going on in a few minutes. If you have any questions, please place them in the chat so we can answer them towards the end. So how's everybody doing? I'm so happy to be back too. My goodness, it's been a long time. It's been a while. A lot's been going on. Just trying to maintain and just growing the business and just try to stay focused and just build continuously. So today's topic, as everyone is tuning in, we're going to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion regarding credit risk. A lot of times people don't understand the 5 C's within the credit and the credit profile and what do they mean. Oftentimes we think it's just all about the numbers, and that is important. However, we must understand the dynamics within the definition of not only the 5 C's, but the 5 components on the credit report. We have resilient indicators, we have all sorts of areas, and we take for granted to say, oh, as long as I have a good score, I will get anything I want. Well, today we're going to speak about how they diversify and see if you're credit worthy. We're going to talk about the inclusion of it. How are you going to build yourself on a character within the areas of credit? So I'm very amazed of who we're bringing on tonight. Again, if you're just tuning in, make sure you like, click, and share. Let us know in the comments where you are tuning in from. If you have any questions, please leave them within the chat so we can answer them towards the end. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can see the comments. I see it's a lot of comments. Hi. Oh, I love y'all. There's best friend. Oh, best friend is always on. Yes. Yeah. I miss you guys too. I really do. I can't wait till I graduate from these programs and tell y'all, all my business owners and all the people we've been doing credit with, like what are some of the key components and what are we missing. So we have to make sure that we understand the dynamics of what's important. There's Candace, there's Lisa. Hey, hey, hey. There's hi. Oh God, I love y'all. Make sure you guys like, click, and share. There's nothing wrong with sharing. Give the wealth to someone. This is free. We're gonna try to. If I don't come on in live, I will do recorded sessions. If you leave any comments that you want answered, please feel free to put them there. So when I do view the actual broadcast, we will answer the questions accordingly. Sorry about that. I thought I put that on. Sheesh. 1 second. Oh, I put myself on mute. Sorry about that. So tonight's host is Janeda Rochelle. She has an LLC that focuses on providing diversity, equity, and inclusion training to businesses and community organizations. She helped companies understand diversity, equity, inclusion, by leveraging its benefits and implementing DEI into their strategic plan through tailored and training sessions. This powerhouse is a 2019 recipient of the Executive Director of Excellence Awards, graduate from Harrisburg MLK Leadership Institute, 2021 Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in the Workplace Certificate from the University of Southern Florida, Corporate Training and Professional Education. She is a featured speaker on the Power to Fly Diversity Financial Inclusion Summit and a 2021 Certified Minority-Owned Business by the National Minority Development Council. I am very pleased and honored to bring her, to the platform. And we are bringing her on, Miss Janeda Rochelle. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm going to turn it down because I'm echoing. I just want you to know I am humbly honored to be on the same stage as you. I remember when we first met at the Minority Summit, what attracted me about what you do is something that we just starting to hear about. So I would like for you to give, a little background on your specialties. I just gave a little briefing, but I would love for the world to know, like, what is it about what you do and what makes it so important that we, as not only individuals but business organizations, that we need to integrate within ourselves, period.
Well, first, I am so honored to be here among you. You're doing absolutely wonderful work. It is so needed in our community and beyond. So I am just honored to be here. So, what is so important about diversity, equity, inclusion is it gives us a right and an end to sit at the table. Because for so many years, we have been excluded, both purposely and then nonchalantly, but we've been excluded. And so the goal of my business is to make sure that we all get a seat at the table, that we're not excluded from the opportunities that we deserve because we are qualified, because we have more than enough experience, because we know what we're doing and we have a lot to offer to the table. So businesses now need to understand what diversity is. We were kind of stuck into this, oh, it's a black versus white thing. That's not really what it is. It's about incorporating all of the diverseness that makes America great, right? We can go to different places within this same county and hear people speaking another language. But that's a great thing about America. So what I teach businesses to do is to recognize that greatness and then harness that greatness to make sure that their companies are better, that they are actually serving the communities that they want to serve, and that all of that relates to them having an increased profit line. But first, we have to educate them on what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. And that's what I do.
Absolutely. You know, to be honest with you, I always knew it was of importance, but I literally just start hearing about it, during the pandemic and for various reasons, because they have to reach certain communities in order to, bring forth not only education, funding, diversifying their own portfolios. A lot of times when we look at diversity, equity, equity and inclusion, people fail to realize how much that plays a part in getting lines of credit.
Yeah.
And as I study, in different programs, the Goldman Sachs program, the We Thrive program, the basis of those three components has everything to do with how they look at you on a platform when it comes to credit. So it was so important that this was brought forth because we as people need to understand the credit profile doesn't just have the actual numbers, it has so much more. And when I say that, I'm talking about the 5 C's of credit: your character, capital, condition, capacity, collateral. It's so important how you diversify your capital, what conditions you have, the capacity of you being able to pay back any line of credit extended to you, the collateral, the amount of money that you have or assets, and the character is your payment history. The worst thing I always hear, especially as I grow in business, is when people say, well, the apple don't fall that far from the tree. The characteristics are already prejudged. You know, the neighborhood, how is their behavior spending? These things are so important. Tell me, how does this relate to one's credit profile in your eyes?
Well, like you said, they say the apple doesn't fall from the tree. Well, they're only really using that in a negative connotation when you're talking about people who live in urban areas.
Yes.
So if you, as the loan officer, as the person giving out the credit, don't understand the diversity that lives around you, and that just because they may live in a certain zip code or neighborhood doesn't mean that they're a credit risk. It means that they could be having the best credit that you could possibly believe of, but because your mindset is stuck, you just see them as their address. That's where those people live. And all of those people, they are criminals, or they don't have any education. They don't have any money in the bank. Their credit is bad, or they don't have a good job history. And none of that is the case. You and I both know that people who live in extremely wealthy neighborhoods can have the absolute worst credit, the most trouble
Absolutely.
way to pay their bills. They are in debt up to and beyond their heads, but they just got a big old house somewhere, where they can barely afford to make the payments. But we have people who are living in different areas who have good credit, who have pay their bills all the time. They have the capacity, they have money in the bank or able to access additional funds. So it's really about changing people's mindsets that saying, hey, don't put everybody into the same boat because they live in a certain zip code. We got to begin to change those people's minds, change the bankers' minds, the lenders, the store owners. We have to change their mindset and to really include us into the equation.
Absolutely. That right there is so important alone because people don't understand. And this is why this conversation is so needed, because you can be denied a loan just off of your area. You can be denied or have increased rates as far as your insurance based off the zip code you live in. They look at the behavior of your spending from not only just you, but people you are affiliated with. So you have to understand when they say the apple don't fall far from the tree, or you consider a credit risk, there are businesses out here that serve the underserved and still can get service with excellent credit. There are people out here that have all things together with the 5 C's on the credit profile: payment history, overall credit, mixed credit, credit age, and credit utilization, and still will be denied. Still will be denied funding, still be denied how you are able to handle a line of credit just by you being in an area where you live at credit risk. You know, they look at your past behavior spending, they look at your collateral. Do you have the characteristics to understand that the 5 characteristics are the same 5 pillars on the credit profile? So I try to tell people during educating them when it comes to credit, look at the 5 areas of the credit. Anything that's done fast is done wrong. Because, for example, it was a statement on YouTube. Someone said a hack was you can hide credit card utilization. You can't hide anything off the credit report. You can mask it, but you can't hide it because there's different algorithms within the platform that shows what you're trying to do. And that's the resilience score. So when you do things as far as your spending, your credit, the way you utilize your credit cards, the way you compulsively buy, educate yourself to diversify so you can be included in those extended lines of credit, so you can be included as far as buying a home. Look at your payment history and say, if I don't need it, I don't need, if I don't want to buy it, wait a while. Because when you do things fast, you fail. And credit is a hierarchy of building that it starts with behaviors. How do you behave when you get a new line of credit? How are you going to appreciate that new line of credit? So when it comes to the equity of it, explain to me, how does that associate with the credit, the overall credit?
Yeah, so the part of equity is saying, I have this new whatever, and so I'm going to make sure that everybody has access to it. So if we're talking about, let's say, banking, let's say, there's banks in certain parts of town, but not in others. So how are they going to build that? How are they going to build a credit if they can't get to a local bank? If all they can get through is a check cashing place, they can't even open up a secured credit card because there's no banks around. So equity says, you know what, we are going to make a purposeful decision to include everyone. So that means we are going to put a bank location into what they would consider underserved area. We're going to make sure that they can walk to our bank so they can open up the accounts so that we can work with them and they can get a credit card, secured credit card, a line of credit, an auto loan, anything to help the community. So equity is saying, I'm going to go out of my way to make sure no one is left behind. And that's what we really need in our credit industry, is people to make sure no one's left behind. We can't afford to, not let people have the access that's needed for them and upward mobility to build generational wealth. We have been behind the 8 ball way too long.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that. My bank is an hour and 15 minutes away. You have to understand, when they structure organizations, especially financial institutions, you have to look at where it stands. First off, if you go in some areas, they are, you got your check cashing places, your H&R blocks, you have your certain areas. But if you look at how they, again, build these organizations, two of my banks are in an hour and 5 minutes away. Two of them. The other one's maybe an hour and 30 minutes away. So they base these organizations on the credit within that area. What is the average credit score with these fine areas? You have to look at it that way. It's not all about it's the numbers are important, but it's the behaviors where they're going to continuously make their profit. They're going to continuously, do business. An institution is not going to be placed in an area where they know there's risk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but see, they fail to realize during the pandemic, our CNAs was able to work, our nurses, our line staff, and now they want to come after and say, we want to give you X, Y, and Z. So that's why you should always know when you do things, look at the surrounding areas. Hell, the TV shows, if you watch certain stations, they will show you basically what that area is attracted to. If you look at the grocery stores, prices go up, during certain times of the month. Anything after the 15th, you can literally buy a household full of food for less than $200. You do anything before the 1st and the 15th, you got to spend $400 or $500. So it's the behaviors that you have to understand the environment to ensure that, hey, I need to make sure my credit shows that I'm credit worthy, and my characteristics will let them know that I am eligible for anything that I go after. So that is so, so important. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in. I have Janata Rochelle, excuse me, from Linguistown, PA. Thank you. Everybody is tuning in. Please like, click, and share. She is a 2019 recipient of the Executive Director of Excellence Award. Her business is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Please appreciate the knowledge that she is given. She is a guest speaker on Power to Fly Diversity Financial Inclusion Summit, and she's a newly certified minority business enterprise from the Minority National Council, Development Council. When it comes to, being a business owner, this is the thing for me. Credit plays a large part in everything we do. It's actually everything we do. Being a newly business owner, getting certifications, running an organization, how important is it that your credit is in line?
Oh, it's so important because you got a new business, but you need to join all these different associations that cost $300, $400, $500. You have limited capital because you just started. So you need someone to give you a line of credit or even allow you to open a business bank account. They're not going to do that if your credit is not good. If you have a history of overdrawing your accounts, if you can't pay your bills, all of that stuff is essential to building your business, to maintaining your business. You can get your business credit rating, but when you just get started, guess who it's based on? You. Absolutely. Not on anything else. It's based on you. And if you operate a business out of your home where you don't have any, recurring expenses that will kind of build our credit, it's still based on you. So that's why it's so important that you understand what credit is and you utilize it correctly. And then you go to institutions that are close to your neighborhood that can really help you, like make your money work for you. Take it someplace where you as a person is going to be valued. And so therefore your money is going to be valued.
Absolutely. We need to realize that we are the banks.
Yes.
We need to realize we are the banks. They need us. We are the banks. There's no such thing of a financial institution or someone that's regulated by the FDIC if it wasn't for us. We go in and we open these accounts. We go in and we establish relationships, which is true. But we have to also make sure that we know not only our rights, but how our credit as a major impact to their operations. Let me say that again. Our credit is a major impact to how a business can operate. If
Yeah.
they don't have individuals with excellent credit or fair to no credit, if they extend a line of credit, their organization is able to thrive based off of your transactions, not
Hmm.
theirs. So you
Yeah.
have to understand, you have to control. It doesn't matter the environment, it doesn't matter any of that. If you understand the principles of the 5 C's, along with the way the banks operate, you control the money within the bank.
Yeah. You realize that you control the narrative. They can't succeed without you. And so, why would you put your money somewhere where people don't look like you, they don't appreciate who you are? But before we even get to that table, like you've been saying, you've got to work on your credit. You've got to work on your character. All those things are so important.
Is acting up. Okay, there you go. So you touched on some major points. As we get deep into this, a lot of times people always say when they have a line of credit, I'm paying on a principal. I'm paying on a principal. You are the principal. You got to know this.
Yeah.
They don't operate unless you pay your bill. Yes, they can compromise some things, but you have to understand if you pay, you control some things. Let me repeat that again. They know if you don't do business with them, and if they do business with you and you don't pay it back, they can compromise your credit. But if you are credit worthiness, you control how they do business. And this, a lot of times, people do not understand that concept at all because, to be truthful, we run more than people think. Right now, for example, the government is giving out so much money. You got to be in the right place at the right time. You have to have good credit. A lot of my clients will come to me and say, "Where's the funding? How do we get funding?" A lot of non-business owners say, "How can I get my credit up?" Getting your credit up is not cleaning up; it's being educated about what not to do again. A lot of times, people will go in business and not understand that you're gonna need capital. You're gonna have to build a character. You gotta have a capacity in order to gain their trust, in order to control the trust. It's so important. You could walk in a bank. If you knew when a bank was going for their certification, I teach y'all something quick, and they have foreclosures on a home, you can literally go in and tell the bank how much you're going to pay for that foreclosed house.
Yeah.
This is credibility right here. This is what you learn knowledge about credit overall. I want this house that you say is for 125,000, but I'm not here for you to make a profit because I know your certification requirement for you to operate is coming up. This is the equity, is the knowledge within knowing that you control the bank or
Yep.
you control any lending when you have this type of credibility. When you have good credit worthiness, you can go in and let them know how they're operated, and you're not here to make a profit with them. I'm
Yep.
here to buy this house, or you're going to take it as a credit risk. The credit risk is the knowledge that's not being obtained or funneled through the individuals when they lack or don't want to learn. Nothing about credit is easy. Nothing about credit is something you can do overnight.
Yeah.
Credit sweeps, hiding your credit utilization, that's not factual. What's factual is being able to become educated enough to know any financial institution you want to walk through their door, you can do whatever you want.
That is so, it is so true. Like you have to understand how it's worked. And as I say, don't blame the game, play the game, work the system. Understand what you're doing, understand that the banks need you, That's why they want you to invest. That's why they want you to do business. That's why when you're thinking, oh, I'm starting a business, where do I want to go to? All the banks, as soon as you incorporate, every bank in the area starts sending you information because they need you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, this is something that goes beyond the scope of understanding the numbers. This goes beyond the scope of how you can control their operations. Being credible, having those characteristics of the 5 C's goes beyond, again, what's on the profile. When we speak about building tables, this is deep for me. When we speak about building tables when it comes to credit, this is where DEI comes in at.
Yeah.
This is where it comes in at. Paying your bills is a characteristic. Going for the credit, but understand the credit card utilization and the credit card information is a characteristic. But when it comes to DEI, when it comes to banking, when it comes to overall running a business individually, what can you share to the audience that will allow them to understand that credit is just more than the numbers? It's deeper.
Yeah, because you want to have that character. You want to be able to build your own table and have them come to you. Because once they come to you, you are now sitting in a position, not just power, but authority, and then you can dictate those terms. So you have to be able to build your own capacity, right? So you have to be able to do those things that are needed to expand your own personal brand and your own profile. So for diversity, equity, inclusion, that means, your employment is now appreciating who you are and then elevating you because of your knowledge. So you don't have to have your own business in order to increase your own capacity and your own credit and your own knowledge and your characteristics. You can still work for someone and do that. But as you are building all of those things, when you're ready, they're going to come to you. See, because you're going to now I can build my own table. I'm still working my 9 to 5, right? Because I got good benefits and a pension, and make sure, or your 401k, make sure you're doing the maximum contributions in your 401k. So when you want to go do something different, they're going to come to you. They're going to look at your credit. They're going to look at your bank accounts, and they're going to say, hey, knock, knock, knock. I see that you have this. I see that you have your nice house. Don't you want to refinance? You have a car. Don't you want a different car? They're going to now come to you because you are now understanding all those things in credit that you talked about. You're now understanding your own value because you now work for an employer that values who you are, that doesn't go through with microaggressions and implicit bias. And you understand who you are, and the banks are now coming to see you. Now they're saying, hey, do you want to come do business with us? Hey, do you want this? Don't you want to go on a trip? Don't you want to send your kids to, some other additional education, college, trade school, whatever? We can do that for you. Here, come sign. Come on, come get my money, is what they'll end up saying.
That's what they'll do. And you don't even have to pay interest on it.
No,
nothing. You literally can go in and not, and like she said, you don't have to have a business to do this. You just have to understand the characteristics of credit to do this. When you mention 401k contributions, people don't understand the importance of a 401k contribution.
You have to. It's your retirement. It's your money. Make it work for you. That's what one of my people that I follow, Kevin, he says, make your money work for you. So put in your 401k. If you work for the state, you got your pension, but do the deferred comp. That's the extra. Always do the extra. Absolutely. Don't just do the minimum. Do the extra because it's going to benefit you in the long run, because nobody wants to work at 80, 85, 75, or whatever the case may be. So why not start building your wealth now? If they have a 401k or a pension or a deferred comp, do all of that. Do the maximum you can do. And then you'll really begin to understand what wealth looks like.
Absolutely. People don't understand when you contribute to a 401k and they say we match your contributions. Let's break this down.
Yeah.
I now own shares within that company. A lot of people will walk away or get fired from organizations and fail to realize they have shares because the word is we will match your contribution and now you are invested.
Yes.
That word invested should be the bling bling eye opener. Say, if you fire me, can I get the shares?
Right.
If I spend 10, 15 years on a job and they say now you're fired, if you put in 401k and did the maximum benefit and also, go into other programs, what makes you not average is understanding the dynamics of a company building their financial portfolio. They have to diversify it so you can build and they can build the equity so they
Yes.
can include you so they can continue to be, granted to have a 401k because it ain't just eat. You can't just run a business, and have a 401k, You have to earn that. So when you have a 401k on your job, to piggyback off of what you said, make strong contributions in it. Because when they say now we'll match it and you're invested, you have shares.
Yeah.
That's another conversation.
That's a whole other conversation. Now you own a part of something else. But please contribute to your 401k. Not just their money, your money.
That's right. Don't let them say, we'll just give you $50 every 2 weeks. Because when you're not average, and I'm piggyback off of what Dr. Travis said, he mentioned some things in this live he did. Shout out to Dr. Travis. He said, if you do average things, you want to continue to do average, excuse my French. When you don't know the rights and the importance of your credit, you're being average because you're allowing someone to dictate how you should live and breathe, how you should perform, how much money you should get, what type of car you should drive, what type of house they're going to put you in, because you're only worth X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
But when you go above the average, know if you're still working, know that you can become credit worthy by putting in extra within your 401k. When you become invested, go to the board meetings because as an investor, you are allowed to do this. And then if you're not a business owner, you learn to go to their board meetings because you do business with them.
Yep.
Because if you're diversifying their portfolio, they need us in
Yep.
order to continue operations. 60% of organizations that hold either a financial institution certification or a federal deposit insurance commission certification must do business 60% with a diverse company or individuals.
Yep.
If they do not, they fail to be certified. This is why Wells Fargo lost privileges. This is why sometimes other organizations are in hot water. We control the table, even though the food on the table may look the same, but you have to know how you can gain and control the menu. That's so important.
That
Your
is so
credit,
true.
your credit gives you the right to control the menu. You can't tell me what I need because I'm going to tell you what I have.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me what I need because I have to buy this or I have to get this or I need the X, Y, and Z. You can't tell me I'm going to pay 21%. And I know I can pay zero.
Right.
People get insurance and don't understand the dynamics of insurance. This is the credibility and understand the knowledge and character within your credit profile. People don't understand insurance will make you so wealthy it's sickening.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
If you understand the diversity within insurance,
Oh my goodness.
it will literally make you so wealthy. It's sickening.
It will set you and your kids up. Set you and your children up if you do it correctly.
And if you do it correctly, you won't even pay taxes on it. You won't pay taxes on it. People don't understand why This is credit. Do you have the capacity to do these things? Are you credible? Do you have the collateral? Do you have the capacity?
Yeah.
We have to change our behavior on how we look at diversity, equity, and inclusion. We
Yeah.
are included in all things.
Yeah. You made a point about banks having to do business, right, with diverse groups of people. Well, that would be us,
Hmm.
and they have to.
Hmm.
And so, why not make them do it and do it well?
Absolutely.
And why not use that to your advantage? Because they have to come to us. And so, while they're coming to us, if the board doesn't look like you want it to look like, vote.
Absolutely.
That's what happens when you start to invest in companies. You get notifications about, hey, they're having a board meeting, vote for president, vote for all these different things, right? So
Hmm.
that's the importance of understanding the unique power that you have once you grasp your credit, once you make sure that you're credible, once your character and your capacity, all those things are being built. You now understand that they have to come to you for permission to do something. And there are so many businesses that get in trouble for not going to their board and
Uh-huh.
doing it the right way. You know, companies that have had major discrimination cases are in trouble with the SEC, not just because of discrimination, because they didn't fail to inform the board.
Absolutely.
They failed to do their part. And when you own stock in companies, that means they failed to do their part for you.
Absolutely.
When you invest in them, your bank, you bought out Wells Fargo, who for some odd reason stays in trouble, but
God bless
they're
them.
a prime example of not doing things correctly and now trying to work to get back to where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, they even use African American, celebrities to
Yeah,
try to grab that crowd. We have to look at these people.
look at it all.
Look at it all because honestly, we look at it and we say the heightness of our growth is, we can get a credit card, which is great. I love credit cards. I have 35 of them. Great, you know, but it's more to that. It's so much more to the utilization. It's so much more to the payment history. When you become credible, you literally can control what happens in a bank.
Yeah,
You can control what happens in an institution. There are sites out there when a bank is going for their exam to obtain their certification to continue to operate. If they do not do business with 60% of individuals in a diverse and underserved area, they're done.
right.
They're done. So the question I have for my audience, what are you going to do to get past the credit profile and learn about within these organizations? You can literally go in and ask for a check, and there's nothing they can do when you credit worthy. I need you
Right.
to cut me a check for $300,000, and just because of who you are, they have to cut it. Yes, it's easier said than done, absolutely. But when you know the dynamics of credit and its principles, you will know there's no such thing as a hack. You will know there's no such thing as removing something fast or suppressing student loans or um, freezing reports. You can freeze reports all you want, but freezing a report is great when you're trying to start this process. But unfreezing it and knowing the education within the process
Yeah.
is how you come out on top. You know, if you got to do little by little and step by step, I'm very transparent about my life. It took me 5 years. It took me 5 years and a whole lot of heartbreak and a whole lot of hell to get where I'm at. You know, I tell people don't compare someone's chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 13 when it comes to credit. Don't go and try to get your credit repaired or restored and feel as though it's going to take just a year. No, it's the education behind those numbers
Yeah.
in order for you to grow. We have to learn how to be included in the process and understand the process.
Yeah.
People come on and want to show you their flashy lifestyles. That's not credit. People want to show you how good it is. That's not credit. there are not many credit companies that's on these platforms that's educating you publicly.
Yep.
They're either trying to put you on a private jet or they're trying to hack you. Or, hey, let me put you on a, what do you call that? Credit card. Far as, uh, sorry, what do you call that? Not the credit card, but authorized user.
Yeah.
Why do you want to give someone your social security number that you don't know to control your credibility?
Right.
They don't know you. You paid them $700 to put you on as an authorized user, and you don't know nothing about your spending. That's called poor behavior spending that will keep you more away from opportunities within these larger organizations, individually or a business owner.
Yeah, it will keep you poor. It will keep you not just poor, but a poverty mindset because you always want a handout from someone. Like everybody gets a handout. I'm not. I got handouts because I needed
Absolutely.
that. I had my son. I needed WIC. I needed all that kind of stuff. I needed LIHEAP or whatever it was. There's no problem with that. But they're really designed to be a temporary thing. And there are people because of their vocation or things that has to be permanent, and that's okay. But for the rest of the people that's not doesn't have to be that way. Why would you want to do that? Don't just give information to someone controlling it. Take that control yourself. Like I tell people when I do the first time home buyers workshop, I'm like, stop wasting your money on them folk. They really can't help you. It's not going to be fast. It's going to take you a year to 2 years to get yourself together to buy a house if your credit is jacked up. And sit with it.
And go through the chains. Go through the education. Go through the hardship. If you owe this bill, pay this bill. Don't settle that bill.
Right.
Because if you settle it, the marks go underneath the profile. This person is a risk. Credit risk is real.
Yes.
You are a risk in the way you spend your money. You have a social media score. You have a behavior spending score. You have an environmental score. These are all scores that equal up to, are you credit worthy? And the more you show them that you're not, the more further away you're going to be when times are changing. We're going into a cashless society. Cashless. I don't know about crypto, Bitcoin, I don't know. But I know we're going to a cashless society.
We sure are.
Cash won't mean jack in the next 2 years or even sooner.
And if you have poor credit, how are you going to do anything? What are you going to do?
It's scary, It's a scary time.
It is. It's like, what are you going to do? You've got to, I think you mentioned it before about your spending habits. Examine your spending habits. You talked about that several times. Look at how you're doing your money. What are you doing with your money?
Absolutely.
Okay, you need new clothes. Can you wait till they all go on sale? Because I'm a firm believer that everything goes on sale. So
You're
just
right.
wait. Instead of $250, maybe you only spend $100 because you waited till everything went on sale because it's something that you actually needed. But what are your spending habits? Like you keep saying that, so that keeps ringing in me. Like examine your spending habits because that goes to your character and part of the core of who you are. Where do you put your money? Is it into charity or is it into the latest whatever that they don't care about you because you just keep spending on stuff that brings no value?
You can add equity within yourself when you learn about insurance. I tell people this and they think I'm crazy. GoFundMe was a platform to scatter the minds and blindside on the importance of insurance.
Yes.
The GoFundMe was something they know that's easy, everyone can run to when something happens. I recommend everybody to get insurance.
Me too. Get a term life insurance. Get it with your car insurance. It's $25 a month.
Get insurance. Insurance is a way on the credit profile to show that your credit worthiness. Let me say this again. Insurance is an area on the credit profile that shows your credit worthy. Your car insurance. is a way on a profile that shows that you're credit worthy. It goes within the 5 pillars and the 5 characteristics of credit. It might not appear to you visibly, but do you think it's not calculated on a decision that needs to be made in order to extend you credit? They have an
Absolutely.
insurance score. I'm talking about car insurance, life insurance. Get a term policy, build the term policy, and then do another policy.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you do not do this and you continue to GoFundMe has a platform within itself that they know who is going to go to it because they're not insured.
Right.
This is the credibility and the characteristics of who you are. Student loans, all those areas on the credit report shows how you spend on a behavior level.
Absolutely. Like I went and got another life insurance policy, and the person I work with, she worked specifically with women. She was like, "I have never heard of it. You got approved the same day."
Yeah,
Yeah.
because when you go in, all the scores come up. People say, "Oh, I have a real estate score." There's a real estate score for buying a house, but you have to understand that insurance score is incorporated with it. You know, your behavior, spending, how you do things, the environment you live in, and it's sickening. But you have to understand the dynamics of what does credit mean.
Yeah.
It's not getting a credit sweep.
Yeah.
It's not going dealing with someone that deals with, you know, components of putting things in the computer to get it wiped off because it's never hitting. It's
It's
managed.
not. You said something really key. You said even if you settle it, it still shows that you settled it, but you didn't pay it.
Absolutely. And it's a credit risk. It's a credit risk. If you settle a debt, you're not getting away with it. Anything over 600, the IRS sends you a 1099-C. It's called the cancellation of debt. Guess what? You're going to pay more taxes on it and they're going to add it to your income. This is the credit worthiness and the characteristics of credit. If you settle your debt, this puts you in more poverty or more in debt for the simple fact if your debt is $1,000, you give them 415 or four, whatever the case may be, 430. No, excuse me, if you give them three something, 600 and something dollars is going to go to the IRS as a 1099-C. So if you made $45,000 that year, now you got another 600 going towards it. They add that as income, which is going to tax you more, that take away your possible capabilities of even having that now child tax credit because now you lost the privilege.
Yeah.
And this is why you need to understand the characteristics on how things are operated.
Yeah, and that's the same thing that happens, with your student loans. If you get your student loans forgiven, they count that as your income. I'm not saying it's
What?
not a good program. It's a great program, but that's going to be your income.
Listen, I was about to get $15,000 forgiven. When I heard that, I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just get this paid off because I'm not playing with y'all like that." If people signed up for student forgiveness, I'm not saying that's not a bad program. What I'm saying, understand the in betweens of this. It's called the cancellation of debt. You feel as though they're doing you a favor? Watch how the IRS do you a favor.
They're
So
going to come for their money.
absolutely. So that 75,000 or that 15,000 or that 30,000 is now attached as wages.
Yes.
That's taxed. So now, guess what?
Oh,
You go get X, Y, and Z. Oh, you're getting garnished. It's the mindset of understanding. I was gonna put in for it. I was like, wait, what? You're gonna do what to it? No, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and just pay this off because I'm not in the mood for y'all to make this as income. Because you're now putting me not only in another tax bracket, You're increasing my chances to be a credit risk because now my debt to income is going to increase. My chances of now getting a new line of credit has decreased, but you feel as though that 15,000 that's off your credit report is gone. No, it's not going. This is traveling away to the IRS to be added as your income, which is not on your credit report because you feel as though you don't see it. Debt to income is basically off of the collateral and the capacity to the amount of debt that's sold.
Yep.
It doesn't show you physically, but when people say I make $80,000, but fail to tell I owe the IRS maybe 25, 30,000. So that 80,000 you made, 110 needs to be taxed. So now we have another ball game. Now your debt to income is increased.
And
So
people aren't aware. You're so right. People aren't aware. Like, I'm not saying it's not a good program, because trust me, it really is. But you just have, like you keep saying also about knowledge. You just need to know, is it worth it? Or can I make these $100 payments from now until, I don't know, the end of time? So that I don't have this huge thing, so that I can get a tax refund, so that I can use the money for, other things that may be needed, invest or do something else. Like, you have to have that kind of knowledge to know, is it really worth the benefit? I'm not sure.
Absolutely. Because I'm telling you, I was going to put that, in, and I was like, oh, no, I'm going to go ahead and just get this out the way and pay it because I don't have time. But if I wasn't knowledgeable of this,
Yeah.
I would have went for the program. So now I have a personal tax and a business tax. And we all know if you reside in Pennsylvania, another story, the taxes up here will make you never want to buy a wig again in life because it's ridiculous. And it's just more so that you might think you're doing something fast to get away to say, oh, I no longer owe the debt. You got to understand, when it's forgiven or satisfied, the IRS takes over that debt. And they want their money. They want it. Two things you can't afford that you can't avoid: death and taxes. Jesus is definitely the IRS. You got to know that. You know what I'm saying? You want to pay somebody.
There's no doubt.
The company. You want to pay somebody. If you don't dispute your credit through the federal regulators and you go to companies that uses software, you're going to be on a hamster wheel for a very long time. For a very long time.
Yeah.
I recommend you guys to understand, business owners and non-business owners, control the menu instead of worrying about what everybody else is eating. Control the menu. Real credit knowledge is beyond the numbers. Real credit knowledge is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Real credit knowledge is knowing that you create and understand the operations within organizations.
So true. That is so true. Because once you understand that, you're like, hey, nobody looks like me. You're not hiring people like me. I heard bad things. And you say, you know what? I'm going to go over to company X, Y, and Z. This here credit union or this other bank that's in my company, that's invested in me, that is giving me information and knowledge to advance me, to lift me out of poverty, right? That's what we lift you out of poverty. I'm going to go over here. And so when everybody leaves whatever institution and says, I'm going over here, that other institution is going to now have to start to change and pay attention to what's happening.
You can honestly get on email lists and find out who's in trouble and who's not. You can honestly get on email lists and find out which banks you can do business with because you know they're in trouble. You have to become knowledgeable of these things. When you become credit worthy and learn about the systematic approaches of credit, you will never have to worry about money again. Because you know why? You know a bank or a business don't want to endure a credit risk. So that takes some of the loss and not all of the loss. Yeah. You have to know the banking systems have credit profiles themselves. Yes. You have to understand lending institutions have credit profiles themselves.
Yeah, look at Countrywide and Wells Fargo.
Come on, 2008.
When all that stuff went haywire, all of the major banks, all of them, there was barely any major bank that was not hit by that. And look at their credit profile and how bad it was.
You literally could, we're not the only ones with credit profiles. lending institutions have credit profiles too. They go by the 5 C's. They go by the characteristics.
Okay.
They
Yep.
might not be fair to us when it comes to lending, but you also got to look at their financial portfolio. You could literally find out if a bank is in trouble with their stakeholders. You could find out if a bank is in the process of losing their certification. Wells Fargo was sending out checks to people saying we apologize. SoFi Delaware was sending out checks to people because the SEC,
Yep.
Security Exchange Commission, got in their tailbones.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm Security Exchange Commission certified, so I knew about it, you know. So my thing is, when you can report to the SEC, you can literally find everything, you know. You can honestly know who you can go do business with. If your bank is an hour away, you know for a fact you can get whatever you want because, first of all, you had to travel. Look at their portfolio. You could have access to any of this to say, you know what? I might have X, Y, and Z, but y'all aren't diversified enough.
Right.
You're not.
Right.
You're not given the right equity. You're only at 40% equity in the fiscal year is ending.
Right.
This is what I need. That's how you talk to a bank.
Right. And then
That's
they
how
have
you
to
talk to a
respond.
bank. You know, the fiscal year is ending. I need X, Y, Z. But you have to have that credit profile to match your statement. You got to make sure you don't have a behavior mindset that match their statement. You follow me?
Mhm.
They have credit profiles too. The only way you're going to gain equity within yourself and who you are is to become knowledgeable of operations. Everything is not about the latest trend or who wants to look good. Facebook is nothing more but a branded, and all these other areas, are branded profiles to make you think X, Y, and Z. I tell people in a minute, girl, as fast as I get off this live, my wig that I ain't going to comb for another week is going to be sitting in the corner. You know, I'm, it's serious. Don't let the flashy jewelry and things fool you, because when you're not knowledgeable of credit and what goes on within these organizations, this is all you see in private jets and things like that.
And none of that stuff matters at the end of the day. I mean, nothing. None
Look
of
at their
that.
Dun and Bradstreet profile.
Right.
That show you credibility right there. Look at someone's Dun and Bradstreet profile. Look at how they do business. How is their culture?
Yep.
If their culture is to streamline people in based off of the materialistics they have, that's a company you don't want to do business with.
Not at all. Like, look at that stuff, right? Like you said, look at their profiles, investigate them. See if you, even if you're going for a job, look at their profiles.
Mm-hmm.
See what they look like. Have they ever been in trouble? Have they ever done this? What did their board look like? What does their president say? What was on, how are they doing business? How do they plan on sustaining growth in this time? Can you work from home? Can you not work from home? Look at all of those things. Like, do your own history. Do your own investigation, so that way you are knowledgeable.
And you have to know this, because when you begin this credit restoration process, there's an end goal. And that goal is to control the menu.
Yeah.
It's not about the latest of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I am the biggest sneakerhead in glasses. I was just somewhere, I wanted a pair of glasses. I said, I'm going to wait. I've never said that. I never said that more today than I've done ever before. Because not only are they looking at when you grow, how you spend, they can really dictate, if you continue that route, how fast you'll be broke.
Yes.
How fast? AI technology is a whole lot going on right now.
Oh,
Again, it's another conversation.
Yeah.
If I want y'all to tune in and understand these things, everything I'm speaking on is on the baseline of credit.
Yep.
It's based on the 5 C's of credit. Watch how you do things, because AI is not to be played with. And that's artificial intelligence.
It is.
They
And
things.
yeah. And so, like, as soon as you buy a house, Everybody knows, right? Well, how do you think they know? You
AI.
know, you pay off your credit card. Everybody knows. How do you think they know?
So
You didn't tell anybody. They don't. It doesn't report your credit report fast enough
right,
for all the
they
offers.
know before. That's why when people say you can spend $1,000 on your credit card with a $1,000 credit limit, and all you gotta do is go home and spend it, the credit report won't know about it. No, that's not how it goes.
Not how. It's still not
No,
how it goes.
credit is so important. If you have $1,000 credit report, being credit limit, and you blew $1,000 on that, the bureaus don't have to get to it. The resilient components of the AI, they already grabbed it. So now you're a credit risk. So when you hear people say, "Go, you can swipe your card and spend $1,000, you can go home and pay it fast." No, do not do this.
Please don't.
Please don't do
Please
this,
don't do that.
because before you leave the store, the calculations have already begun. FYI, the bureaus are the last to know. You got to know this. The credit bureaus are the last to know about your reports.
Yep.
They capture information from one of the largest databases in the United States, and that's LNN, LexisNexis, and other AI components. So please don't ever in your entire life swipe $1,000 on $1,000 card and go home and pay it. You just made the worst mistake ever because you're a credit risk.
Yeah.
And then you'll say,
Those your
"My
habits.
score went down."
Well, yeah, it did. I don't know what you want me to say.
Your score went down before you left the store
Yeah.
because the behavior spending, the way it's calculated on the credit report, already determined what you want to spend, how you want to spend it, because of patterns. Everything is statistical patterns. Credit is the begin all, end all day long, and it has many components.
And you got to understand all of the components to it. That's why I keep saying invest. It's great. You may have an 800 credit score, but what's that going to do for you when you retire?
Well, check this out. And I'll share this with somebody. I'll share this with the whole everybody watching. During the pandemic, I can tell y'all, it's harder to maintain an 800 credit score than it is a 6 and 700. I'll be the first to tell you that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they feel as though you know better. So if you go in the bank with an 11% utilization with an 800 score, you can be denied. I know that for a fact.
Because you know better.
Why are you walking up to me needing a loan?
Yeah.
And you got 11% utilization?
Yep.
It's true. Because if you have to spend a lot of money, you didn't mitigate risk, or you didn't put no systems in place that you had to spend that type of money.
Yep.
So it's so true when I tell people all the time, don't think of 800 score. It's beautiful. Please believe it's beautiful. But when you mess up just a little bit with an 800 plus score, they bite you every time. It's like we are the shepherds and we know better.
Yeah, they expect you like you know better. Your utilization should be at 5%. What you
How
doing?
about two?
Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Two. What are you doing? Hey, I did some things. We know. The answer is no. Straight up, no. You're not getting that. Damn it. I feel as though I deserve that.
Yeah.
Please understand, if you diversify properly regarding your credit and build equity, which is the knowledge within your credit, you will be included in many opportunities that's out there that's waiting on you.
Absolutely. You will most definitely be included. Matter of fact, they'll say, what can we do for you?
I'm here to tell you. Do you want this separate in one check or two?
Yeah. What? Is this okay for you?
Yeah.
They will come knocking at your door.
And then they'll say you got 6 months to start payments. That's how you know what you're doing. when they say, well, you can start paying this in 6 months
Yeah, with zero interest.
with zero interest. If you get to the right bank and you know about the operations, they will throw money at you when you are credit worthy. This doesn't start at certain scores. It's an elevation of not only increase in the score, but the mindset increased on the resilience score and what it means.
Yes.
So if you go out here and spend money like it's no tomorrow, if you're spending thousands of dollars and you don't have an insurance policy, or you let your insurance lapse, these are things I used to do. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I am a victim of these things. I'm not on here to say I'm better. I was a victim because I had the worst spending. And anybody that knows me would tell you, I never got my car inspected. I would go buy me some tags and roll around here like it was nothing. But guess what? It got me in a whole hell of a lot of trouble when I wanted to get some insurance. I'm paying a higher interest.
Yes.
On a 21% interest rate car, now I got high ass insurance.
Yes, like all that stuff matters. Like
it matters.
All of it matters. It all matters.
You didn't get your car inspected. How the hell you know? Because it's within your credit profile.
It's in everything.
It's if you own a car, you have to get your car inspected.
Yeah.
I was famous for going to get me some tags. I would never say where I got my tags from. Shout out to the people that kept me. Sorry, just being honest. You cannot run around here like this. And I'm very transparent because the people that know me know I'm very authentic when it comes to this. I will put snow on my car and ride around with bad tags because I'm not paying that. But I'm in King of Prussia Mall buying all the perfume in the world. Or I'm out Foot Locker getting the latest Air Maxes, and everybody knows I need me a pair of shades in a good way, or I need me a sew-in or a hairdo. When you develop a mindset that those things no longer matter, you have to understand looking good is having your things in order and understanding credit. Because the goal is for you to eat a table that you control the menu. The menu is your credit profile. The menu is how you show credit worthiness. The menu is to include the DEI in your practices so you don't have to wait for certain government programs. It's real out here.
It is. All of that is so important. Like you keep saying, you want to not just control the food, but what food gets served and where you get to sit to get the service.
Absolutely. The menu is what you control. You might go into a bank and they say we do X, Y, and Z. But if you knew about their operations, you change the dynamics of X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z ain't gonna never equal X, Y, and Z. But guess what? If you find different areas of risk within an organization, you definitely now control X, Y, and Z. You are X, and I need to know why I don't have my check yet. And Z is the ending of it.
Yes, Z
You know
is the check in
you
my
are
hand.
X. I'm the reason why you need to keep operating. Are you following me? You have to understand I am the why that you need to operate. And I need to know why my credit profile don't look proficient so I can tell X what the hell I need.
Yep.
This is DEI, people. Not no DY. Do it yourself letters. No.
No.
Do the work and understand the dynamics of not being a credit risk. Do the work because guess what? The reason we remain stagnant because we always remain average.
Yeah, like you said, it's not overnight, right? It's not overnight. Success overnight is a failure.
Ooh.
Everything that has been built, it's never been overnight. It takes time, right? And it's okay that it takes time. Stop looking for the quick fix. It takes time.
Real time. Even when you fail in credit growth, because I failed many times in my credit growth, I went from a 600 to a 700 and back down to a 599 one time. I almost passed out. What the hell did I do? Because I didn't understand the 5 characteristics.
I can truly relate. Like, wait, what?
I'm like,
What? It dropped how much? You look at that like,
no.
wait, hold on. Back up. Let me figure out what's going on. And then it takes faster to fall than it does for you to fix it. Right? Because
So
it falls.
like this at one time. What? Because they know if you're a credit risk that you can't afford to put a lot on a card. That's why you lose points.
Yeah.
When you try to pay off a card knowing you can't afford to pay off that card, that's why you lose points. Credit is analytical.
Yeah.
That's why there's no real definition. But when you understand the definition within the numbers, you know what to do and what not to do. When people say, I got a $10,000 credit bill or a $10,000 loan, I have this left on the loan, I'm going to put a lump sum on it. That's why you lose points. But if you strategically kill the interest, the speed of it, now they know you know what you're doing.
Yeah, if you always pay your principal and more of your interest, whatever, if your credit card charges you $50 interest, make sure you make the payment plus that $50 interest that they charge you.
You have to decrease the speed in the growth of your debt.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of your debt. You pay $10,000 at one time on debt. They're going to ask you, what else could you have paid? The percentages on the credit profile ask questions to each other. The resilience scores start asking questions to, why did she pay this? Oh, she got this. Ding. Because of the behaviors within it, make payments. That's why slow is better. Make the payments and invest some in something else. When you invest your money, your credit goes up.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Truly.
When you invest in something, your credit goes up. Not adding somebody as an authorized user, putting them on your platform or their platform. No, that's a behavior tactic. It's a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
It will mess you up in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding these dynamics is deeper than a quick fix.
Yeah.
Your score would go up, drop, if you put $10,000 on the debt at one time.
Right. Just pay off every, little points of everything and make, like you said, make those consistent payments.
And invest your money.
Yeah.
Invest your money. We fail to invest in ourselves. We fail to invest in a share, a property. Everybody's going to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, we'll talk about that on the air. Just keep saying it. Don't do it. But I just keep saying, don't do it. Just saying. But I'm telling you, invest in yourself and build your portfolio, your diverse portfolio, so you can control the menu. Yeah. Don't pay off debt fast, people. It's the worst mistake you can make. Yes, if you have the money, you want to get rid of it. I get it, because we all hate owing people. The goal is to be strategic. Come into some money. You think AI don't see you going to go to the mall? They know you on your way to the mall.
What? You get the little sales flyers, you get the emails, you get the whatever.
They send it to your phone. So for instance, we look at TV. Look at TV. TV shows is based on your credit profile. Bet you a lot of y'all didn't know that, did y'all? Yeah. The TV shows you watch is based off your credit profile. Let me go deep for you real fast. If you look at these shows, and I love these shows. BET. I don't watch too much TV, but BET, different shows, Jerry Springer, all those shows, you don't see nothing on there but ways to help people become more poor.
Yeah.
You don't hear about 4-year colleges. You hear about more activity. You'll hear about far as plastic surgery. You'll hear about schools that are not credible. But if you go to a tennis channel, you'll see the finer BMWs, you'll see the Harvards and the Princetons. is based, television shows is developed on the audience,
Yes.
the surrounded areas, and the behaviors of the people that are going to watch it.
Right. So you'll see commercials for Ciroc. You'll see commercials for partying for this, or for this latest sneaker, or headphones, or
Absolutely.
all of those things that cost you hundreds of dollars that you don't really need. Instead of showing, hey, for this investment or whatever company does investments, or looking at your 401k, you don't see any of that on those shows, because they know that they're not those, what they think those type of people, whoever they are, aren't watching those shows.
Absolutely. Why do you think Jerry Springer was on TV for as long as he was?
Yeah.
That's associated with the average credit score in the United States. It gets deep, people. Why do you think Jerry Springer lasts for as long as he did? Now, I love Jerry. My dad, my late father, loved Jerry Springer. Why do you think Maury Povich lasts as long as he did? Why do you think these shows last as long as they do? Because they already did the analytics and the data and retrieved the data on who's going to watch this show based on what they do in their life and how they operate and what does their credit look like. You think I'm lying? Data is everything when it comes to credit.
Mm-hmm.
You better know it. When you see shows that last for a very long time, they attract the audience off of the 5 characteristics of credit.
Yep.
It gets deep, people. It gets deep. And you
Why
gotta
do certain shows
understand.
in certain areas, and why you know why. If you don't know, you should know why. There's certain shows in certain areas and certain commercials in certain areas. They show more of this than in other areas. Same show, but you go down south, the commercials are completely different. Or you go in a particular neighborhood and the commercials are completely different
Completely different because
than
they
you go to
channel
different areas.
based off of the audience that's watching. I know we went over a little bit, and I want to see if we have any questions. I am joined by Miss Rochelle. Her business is, you know, concentrates on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm very grateful. I'm going to check and see if we have any questions. Let me see. And thank you for everyone that's tuning in. I miss each and every one of you because it's so important that we understand the dynamics of this. Because if not, we will be lost every single time.
Yep.
My favorite saying that I always speak about is, the nutrients within the ashes. It's a lot of times that people don't understand this. And I associate it tonight with credit because it's so important. The lessons within the burn of not doing right by your credit will allow you to rise to the occasion when you are now aware of the credit. So the ashes are all the mistakes that we made, and they're okay. It's when we rise above those ashes, we have to now understand that we are in charge of not only our destiny, but how businesses operate.
Yep.
I want to thank you. Do you have anything to say to our audience before we end? Because we are an hour and 30 minutes. This was a good conversation.
It was a great conversation. I want the audience to remember that they are essential. Businesses, companies can't do anything without you. So make them invest in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Make them invest in you. And then you do the same work. You invest in you too. You invest in your own equity. See what you're doing. And then change habits that are not beneficial for you so that you can build your table. You can decide where you want to put it. You can decide what's on the menu, and they have to come to you.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, it's been real. If you have any credit questions, please place them in the chat. I will answer them accordingly. I thank you. Next week, we're going to have an individual that specializes in insurance. These topics are being discussed because I want my people to be made aware that there's wealth in changing your mindset. There's wealth when you understand credit. Then now you can understand what DEI stands for. Next week, we're going to talk about credit and insurance and how important it is. and I will be joined by my estate planner. I can't wait to bring him on. He's a wealth of knowledge. Please tune in and thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I look forward to speaking with you again. And you guys, make sure when you do tune in, put in hashtag replay credit tip Tuesday. If you have any questions, place them in the chat. And also, anybody wanting to reach out to Miss Rochelle, I will also provide that information as well. Her website and all. Give her a call. We'll also put that information down as well. We love you guys and we thank you for tuning in, and you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.